Alright, so I'm gonna post a link in the speaker request channel, and you can just all hop in here and join the stream. I will mute myself in the Discord call, I suppose, and then I'll just be talking in the stream on Twitch instead. I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to make sure that everything is working properly. Let me also play a video so that you can test if the audio is good. Are they balanced and stuff?
Before we get started, what you see me drawing now is just a spontaneous sketch.
Doctor, to be honest, I have not used Twitch for like 12 years, I think. I just have this account lying around. Anyways, I'm gonna mute myself in Discord, and you'll just be hearing me in the stream. Can everyone confirm that my voice is good and the audio here on the video is good?
Most of this hopefully brief video
compared to my
will be me
voice?
talking, so this should help keep it visually engaging. So,
by the way, I suppose you can leave the Discord call actually then. There's no need for this anymore. Alright, so we have about 63 people in the Twitch room. If anyone is talking in the chat and asking how to join, yeah, let them know in the text chat. I'll also just post it in the lesson announcement here. Nice. Alright, so today I do not believe there's going to be much drawing and much instruction at all. It seems to be just the introduction, lesson 0. It's going to give us the habits and mindsets that we need to adopt throughout this course. So then if you have not watched the introduction video, we'll just watch it together now.
before we get started, what you see me drawing now is just a spontaneous sketch that is not related to the content of this video. Most of this hopefully brief video will be me talking, so this should help keep it visually engaging. So, what is Drawbox? I'll start now by clarifying that Drawbox is not just about drawing boxes. It's just a catchy name, and that has led to some unpleasant confusion and misinterpretation. Drawbox is a large community of students who've been looking for a way to learn the fundamentals of drawing from the ground up. It started as the subreddit Art Fundamentals, which has now grown to over 150,000 subscribers and developed into its own website shortly thereafter. Later on, we also spawned a Discord chat server that now has between 2,000 to 3,000 people online depending on the time of the day. It's all built up around a set of free lessons that have been written and rewritten more times than I can count since we started in 2014. It's very much a living thing. Each lesson has homework assignments, and by giving feedback on those assignments that have been submitted to me over the years, I've been able to collect data on how students learn, what they aren't quite understanding, and how I might be able to convey it better. Being forced to explain and re-explain the concepts countless times has also helped me to better understand the material that I'm teaching. After all, when I started this, I had just come back from learning these concepts in Los Angeles, And I was still just a student myself. I wanted to share the material that I felt needed to be available, and rather than waiting to become an established artist or instructor myself, I pretty much just jumped the gun. Over time, I went from regurgitating what I had learned to thinking about exactly what it was that constituted the fundamentals of drawing. Every artist will give you a different list, and I came to realize that if you really dig deep into what a student needs, what most other concepts depend upon, you settle at the importance of understanding spatial reasoning. That basically means understanding how the things you're drawing are three-dimensional, and how the different objects and forms relate to one another in 3D space, not just on the flat page as a collection of lines. As I've mentioned already, the lessons are made up of specific homework exercises along with the lectures. These exercises are concrete things that you can do to improve specific skills, with each exercise having a particular target and purpose. We start at the absolute basics, learning how to control your arm to create confident, smooth line work, and move on into being able to construct simple forms that feel solid and three-dimensional. From there, we learn to combine those simple forms to create complex objects that continue to feel solid and believable. While the later lessons each talk about a different subject matter, plants, then insects, then animals, all the way to vehicles, Drawbox is not about teaching you how to draw specific individual things. This is not one of those how to draw blank programs. Each subject is used as a different lens or angle from which to attack the same problem, the combination of solid forms in space to create something more complex. Similarly, every drawing we produce is itself just an exercise to help rewire your brain and develop your internal understanding of 3D space. Any among you who have seen the demonstrations from later lessons or other videos that I've put up will be able to tell that the way that I'm drawing right now in this sketch doesn't actually incorporate any of the direct and specific techniques that I actually teach. That's because Drawbox is not about teaching you a specific way to draw.
Someone said that they can't hear. Can people confirm if they can hear? The video, that is. Alright, wonderful. I'm guessing he just needs to unmute then.
Instead, it's about teaching you how to think about space. Once your spatial reasoning skills have been developed, you'll be able to draw however you like, but your drawings will still inherently feel more solid, and will convey a much stronger grasp of how the canvas itself is a window into a three-dimensional world. From what I've seen, this is what many of the cheap and free courses on the internet want students to know already, in order to be able to implement the specific things they themselves are teaching. So you can think of Drawbox as a primer or an introduction that will get you ready to make more sense of all the other resources and tutorials out there. I won't lie, Drawbox is not an easy course, and I do not recommend it for younger students. It is targeted primarily at young adults, and while it will help you to develop your own patience and discipline, it does require your commitment. You should also be doing plenty of your own experimental drawings alongside this course, but we'll discuss what I mean by that in another video. Ultimately, I think that drawing is often presented as something tangled up with the concepts of talents and gifts we either have or don't, and I think that's complete nonsense. I myself struggled a lot when I was younger, assuming that because I could not visually imagine things in my head, a condition I now know as aphantasia, a career in the arts was not meant for me. It wasn't until I attended Concept Design Academy where I learned the basis of what ultimately became these lessons, and I realized how wrong I was. The ability to draw is a skill one develops, not a gift that is given, and if you can approach it with structure, exercise, and a lot of practice, it can be earned.
A wonderful first lesson. So I'm pretty sure, from what I understand, all the text here is basically just a transcription of the video, so we don't need to read any of it. Which means we have technically just finished one page, which is the minimum goal for each session. So I'm gonna ask everyone if you want to continue. I'm thinking we're gonna do the next page as well. Yes. Alright. So this is for all the people who are not ready to draw yet, or um, feel like their art isn't good enough, or scared of the paper or stuff. This one is for you. Uh, people saying that the text is not the same. I did actually read the first couple of lessons, and I at least know that this page doesn't really have anything new or interesting. There's some commercial for Patreon you can join and stuff like that. And also on the second page, I'm pretty sure there wasn't much new. But perhaps we should get someone who's really good at reading out loud, because I'm really bad at that. If there's someone who will volunteer who has a good voice and can read out loud, they can join me on the stream and then read the text out loud. Does anyone want to do that? If no one wants to, then I'll do my best. I have absolutely no problem doing that, but I will probably stumble over the words because uh, I have not read out loud once in my life. All right, so we have a couple of volunteers here, Afropunk and Nikushimi. Let's see. I suppose I will create a new voice channel that's just for me and them, and then they can join that. So give me a second. Let's create a new channel. People are suggesting Google 80. Yes, I do have that installed actually. I can just do like this.
Drawbox is rigorous. It is composed of
Are people
structured
alright with this?
exercises, and it involves a lot of work. Some students gravitate towards this kind of course, seeing the structure as something
Alright,
that can
people are
hold
saying
their
no.
Gravitate.
Good. We'll get someone who can read out loud then. I'm just setting up the voice channel now. Stream voice down into lesson time. Very good. And then I will set the permissions. So no one can view this channel except for me, mentors, and speaking rights. And so I will give the role speaking rights to someone who volunteers in the chat. And they can join. Oh, on the bottom of the page there are student recordings of them? Oh, alright. Oh, this makes it very good. If this works, how does this work? So I click on this.
Ready.
Ah.
Drawbox is rigorous.
Alright, good. Forget everything I said. All your anxieties can calm down now. We have the narrator. Alright, so let's just continue. Lesson 0, getting started. Once again, this is for all the people who feel like their art isn't good enough or are scared to draw and stuff like this.
So as I mentioned in the previous video, Drawbox is not
So,
an easy course.
someone mentioned the video is a bit low. Should I turn it up? Alright, people are saying yes. I will try.
It involves a lot of work.
How's this?
And while some
Is
of it
this
can
better?
be fun, a good deal of it gets tedious and repetitive.
Perfect.
Many students
Alright,
see that
good.
and go pale. So as I mentioned in the previous video, Drawbox is not an easy course. It involves a lot of work, and while some of it can be fun, a good deal of it gets tedious and repetitive. Many students see that and go pale, and that is probably the correct reaction. Unlike most free resources that lean more towards being quirky and entertaining in order to generate as many views as possible, we don't claim responsibility for whether or not you're having fun. That's your job. And that's what we're talking about in this video. The issue is that many students will see a structured course and feel grateful to finally have something that will tell them exactly what to do next. It provides them with a nice map to follow, and for a time, they don't have to make those choices for themselves. While that means they're usually eager to follow the instructions exactly as they're written, which is a great thing, it also means that they're allowing the course to dictate how all of their time is spent. This happens because those students like the idea of drawing, but more than that, they like the idea of drawing things that look good. They may have a big collection of things that they ultimately want to draw, but they feel that they are not ready. They take solace in the idea that they have a map they can follow, and maybe at the end they finally will be. Here's the truth: they won't. Even if they don't burn out on their own, they may develop a lot of technical skill, but will still struggle to apply it, and will always think there's something else they need to learn first. These students are the ones who tell you, "I can't draw that." What they really mean is, "I can't draw that well." They shy away from situations where they will draw things badly because their enjoyment comes from the end result. This is not a healthy nor a sustainable way to look at it. If this describes you, don't worry. It describes a lot of people. The reason you've looked for a set of lessons to help you draw better is because you've come to that realization all artists do at some point. We're bad at this. Many of us drew when we were younger, and we do so with abandon. We didn't care if they came out well, it was just a lot of fun to scribble furiously and give a little more life to the stories we'd tell ourselves. That is what we need to recapture, to learn how to derive enjoyment from the process of drawing rather than from the end result. Drawing just for its own sake, not to impress our friends, the internet, or even ourselves. Unfortunately, this means we have to draw. Draw what? Draw all the things we know that we're not ready for. All the things we know will turn out badly. We need to face the frustration head on until we can develop just a little more comfort with the idea of drawing badly. This is what we need because it will give us the endurance and the tenacity to get through all of the tedium. Exercises exist not to keep you entertained, but to develop your abilities, and some of the most efficient paths aren't fun. You need to make your own fun and constantly remind yourself why you're on this journey in the first place.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. All right, so essentially, if there is something you want to draw, if there is a dumb idea that pops into your head or something, uh, simply draw it. Like, don't be scared of it. And I believe what he's asking us to do is to cultivate the mindset that our sense of self-worth does not come from our drawing skills, but from who we are as a person. And I think this goes for everyone. I think this goes for anything, not just drawing in life. That if you derive yourself a sense of self-worth from who you are rather than what you do, it will help you tremendously throughout life. Um, so let's have a vote. Do you want the male narrator or the female narrator? Oh, she's British. Oh, we can't have the female then. All right. British. All right. Most people are saying female. I don't know if this is the British or not. I take it this is the British one. I'll just check where it stops here. We know the drawing came out badly, but we're glad we're all right.
Draw a box started. Changing your mindset. Ready. Draw a box is rigorous. It is composed of structured exercises and it involves a lot of work. Some students gravitate towards this kind of course, seeing the structure as something that can hold their hand and tell them exactly what to do until one day they're ready to draw the things they want. I have seen countless students who shy away from drawing outside of the structure of a lesson plan, who feel that every moment spent drawing should be devoted to the improvement of their skills. They insist to themselves that they are not ready to draw those characters that interest them, to design those robots, or to paint those complicated scenes. They feel they have so much more to learn before they can even attempt it. Many of these students burn out on their own, but those who are able to push themselves all the way through find themselves at the end still feeling the same, like they are far from ready. This mindset is common because we usually seek out a resource like this after attempting to draw something and having it come out badly. I cannot draw, we tell ourselves. Some of us shrug and try something else instead. Others might face this failure, however, and think, I can find someone to teach me. While this latter mentality is certainly better, the overall focus on the result of our drawings is the biggest problem. As small children, this did not hold us back. We didn't focus on the end result, because we didn't know good from bad. We drew because it was fun. Somewhere along the line, we all forgot how to find it fun, especially when all we could show for it was that crappy drawing at the end. Fortunately, we can learn to enjoy drawing again, but it's not an easy thing to do. It requires us to shift our focus from the result to the experience, to truly accept that when you say, I can't draw that, what you really mean is, I can't draw that well. There is certainly nothing wrong with drawing badly. If you're afraid the thing you want to draw is out of your reach, draw it anyway. Even if, and especially if, you hate how it comes out. The most important point I can make here is this: doing something badly does not define who you are. It doesn't say anything about you as a person, and it is not the basis upon which you can reasonably be judged. On the Drawbox Discord chat, we actually have a channel devoted to all the times we've drawn something and it's come out badly. Hashtag Well That Went Poorly is a channel devoted to celebrating the fact that we've drawn something rather than staring paralysed at a blank canvas. The channel itself deletes any messages so people can't give each other encouragement or feedback, because that's not the point. We know the drawing came out badly, but we're glad that we drew it anyway.
Wonderful. So, as I suggested earlier, it is essentially the exact same as the video, but just kind of said in a different way. I think it's all right if we watch both of them, honestly, because hearing it in two different ways with two different perspectives might make it sink in a bit more and allow you to understand it from multiple perspectives. Should we have a vote if we should do the text parts as well or just watch the videos? Alright, most people saying both, so we'll do both. That's fine. I think I also prefer that way myself, to be honest. Sun's ID says, super curious to see some of your work. If we have the time, maybe I'll show you at the end of the stream, if anyone wants to stick around. So essentially what he's saying here is that if you do not draw on your own outside of this course, just silly things that pop into your head, then you will burn out. And if you do not do this, the fear of drawing will never disappear, no matter how much you learn. I'm pretty sure that's the essence of what they said. Actually, I stopped reading the Discord chat. Wait, there's so much to catch up on now. Jeez. All right, if anyone is using the Discord chat, please use the Twitch chat. I think I'll just delete the lesson chat channel, to be honest. Just so I don't have two text chats that I need to watch at the same time. Oh, people seem to be against the removing the text channel. Oh, some people can't join the Twitch chat. That's a bummer. What can we do about that? All right. I'll leave the lesson chat, but I won't really read it. I'll just read the Twitch chat. So if anyone is asking a question and they can't post it in the Twitch chat, someone else just relay it to me in the Twitch chat, and then I'll answer it through there. So you can help each other that way, I suppose. Anyways, on to the 50% rule.
In the previous video, we talked about the importance of drawing for fun, or rather, learning to have fun drawing without worrying about what we're learning or gaining from that act. This isn't just a suggestion for you to take or leave, to toss into the back of your head, and to steer the general direction of how you spend your time. It's a rule. Specifically, I call this one the 50% rule. At least half of the time that you spend drawing needs to be dedicated to this kind of experimental, explorative drawing purely for the sake of enjoyment. There should be no other priority but to have fun. The other half of your time can be spent on whatever courses, tutorials, exercises, etc. that you wish. If you are following along with Drawbox, then that can be part of it or all of it. You of course can follow other courses, but this rule should still stand firm. This kind of delineation is important not just to ensure that you're reclaiming the ability to enjoy drawing, it also helps us to maintain focus when we're doing our exercises. I've seen plenty of other students who've submitted Drawbox homework with little doodles and sketches on the side, or where they've tried to make the exercises more fun by doing their own interpretation. This is something I try to discourage, mainly because in attempting to make things more fun, the student is liable to distract themselves from what the exercise's focus is meant to be. Having time to dedicate to just enjoying yourself means that the time for study is that much more pure and untainted. Furthermore, being able to shift your brain in and out of a focused, task-oriented mindset is an important part of discipline, which will help you well beyond drawing. Since everyone's got a different schedule, some people may be able to dedicate many hours a day to drawing, while others may only have half an hour. If you don't have enough time in a day to reasonably bisect, you can alternate sessions. One session for practice, another session for fun. For those of you who want to insist that you find drawing lines and boxes fun, I certainly believe that this can be true, but it still doesn't count.
Alright, you heard him. We all the time we spend on this page, we also need to draw. So I think after we finish a page, then however long we spent on that, we'll spend an equal amount of time just drawing whatever we feel like, whatever pops to mind. And then we can all, if you feel like it, you can share it in the lesson art chat in Discord once it's done. So once we're done with the next videos, I'll set up a timer for like 30 minutes. I think that's about how long we've been doing it. And then we just free draw during that time. How does that sound? And then after the free drawing, the lesson will be over. So if you don't want to do that, you can just skip that part, but then you're also failing this course. So I highly recommend you stick around for that. Alright, let's try and do the male voice this time.
On something rather than staring paralyzed at it giving him out badly, but we're glad that we drew it anyway. The 50% rule. This brings us to an extremely important rule.
You guys
At
lied.
least
They're
half
both
the time
British.
you spend drawing must be devoted to drawing purely for its own sake. Not to learn, not to improve, not to develop your skills, not even to apply what you've already learned. There are no restrictions on medium, no specific techniques you must use, no subject matter you must focus on. Draw the things you'd draw if you were the most skilled artist in the world. Draw the things your brain insists you're not ready to tackle just yet. The other half of your time consists of whatever lessons, courses, or tutorials you might be following. That can include drawbox exercises or anything else. Not only does segmenting your time into these halves help you devote time to learning how to enjoy the act itself, but it also helps us to look at what we're doing with a greater sense of intent. Many students have a habit of doodling on the side of their drawbox homework as they work through the exercises. This kind of mixing of focus is something I don't want to see. Instead, get your personal doodles and sketches out at their own designated time. And when following along with any course, not just Drawbox, make a point to follow its instructions to the letter. No distractions, no split focus. Ultimately, we all work with different schedules, and most people do not have the freedom to devote hours of each day to drawing. Some might have only 30 minutes a day, or even less. In these cases, I'd recommend alternating the purpose of your sessions, spending the session one day on your exercises/lessons, and the next day's session on drawing for fun. If you catch yourself thinking, "Oh, but I'm having fun just drawing lines in boxes," then you're missing the point. Now that we've gotten through some of the introductory stuff, on the next page, we'll discuss what concepts Drawbox focuses on and what kind of students these lessons have in mind.
Alright, so as we're doing these lessons, we follow them to a T, and then we keep all the creative doodling to free time, to the free time afterwards. Overcoming the fear of the blank page.
One of the biggest challenges of learning how to draw, or really learning any skill in general, is fear. The fear of failure, the fear of wasting time, the fear of not being predisposed or uniquely blessed with talent. It goes on. Here I'm going to talk about one particular fear that I struggled with a great deal, and something against which I still wage an ongoing battle. The fear of a blank page. More specifically, I'm going to explain how I learned to deal with it. The fear of a blank page is at its very core a manifestation of the fear of failure. We sit down to draw, but that pristine, unmarred, perfect page stares up at us like a gawking crowd, waiting for us to mess up. The pressure is on. We start to feel this sense that the first mark we make will make or break our drawing. If we screw it up, there's no way the drawing will recover. But if we make the right mark, by some fluke or miracle, the fear doesn't abate. It just transfers over to the next stroke, like the drawing is an obstacle course and every new mark is an opportunity to lose the game. Obviously, that's not how it works, but our emotions aren't exactly subject to logic. I took up drawing as a frequent hobby from the age of 12, and it wasn't until I was 23 years old that I really started facing the struggle head on. Until then, I'd kind of accepted that I was just bound to spend hours staring at a blank piece of paper or a blank canvas in Photoshop, and some nights I just wouldn't produce any results. My turning point came when a friend of mine showed me her sketchbooks from high school, and they were so different from my own. Where my pages were timid and sparse, many of which were abandoned after just a few marks, hers were bold, confident, and filled. They were full of experiments. They pushed her boundaries, and not once did they ever give an impression of fear. She drew and wrote whatever was on her mind, and not once did she even consider whether they'd come out well. It's not like all the drawings were good. There were plenty of mistakes and blunders throughout the pages, but the point is that it never mattered. These sketchbooks weren't there to represent her to the world. They existed only for her. It was those sketchbooks that made me realize that more than anything, I was a coward. A coward who only cared about how his drawings would make him look to others, whose motivation for drawing was more focused on the idea of being an artist. It was a shallow pursuit, and I only cared about being impressive. Keep in mind that none of this is a crime. In fact, I'm sure many of you will relate to that sentiment. Lots of people see concept artists on the internet and just fantasize about drinking in the attention that they must be receiving. It's the allure of celebrity, and flashy and dazzling as it may be, it isn't tangible, it's not a real thing that we can work towards. It just leads us down a path of frustration, of unfair comparisons, and of anguish. In that despair, we forget why we wanted to draw in the first place. We forget about the stories we wanted to tell, the characters we wanted to bring to life, and the worlds we wanted to create. And all we have left is that empty need to be liked. It's a normal, human thing. And to be human is to be able to change. So I gave myself a task so that I too could change and approach my art a little more as my friend did. I took a sketchbook and a ballpoint pen and I promised myself that I would fill 2 pages of it in ink every single night before going to sleep. The goal was not to create wonderful drawings or drawings of anything in particular. I just had to fill the pages with something and really fill them. A single drawing isn't enough. The page had to be packed. If anything crossed my mind, even slightly, before I had the chance to reject the idea, I set to drawing it because the page had to be full. There is nothing more gratifying than having a drawing come out well. To have that one page you can show off, perfect and unmarred. And unfortunately for me, this strategy basically made such a thing impossible. If by some fluke a drawing came out well, having to add another to the same page basically guaranteed that I'd ruin it. So if the page was destined to be ruined no matter what, then all that fear suddenly felt kind of, well, stupid. It didn't stop me from being afraid, but it did help me to at least complete my task. Every night, I wouldn't go to sleep unless the pages were full. And the more I filled up that sketchbook, night after night, the more I felt the joy of actually drawing return to me. While I wasn't embarrassed to show the sketchbook to people, that wasn't its purpose. So for the most part, I kept it to myself. The drawings were for me, and before too long, my relationship with drawing as a whole had taken a turn. Nowadays, some 8 years later, while I still do feel some of that fear in the back of my head, I find it a lot easier to just jump in and draw. It's also given me the confidence and a certain amount of comfort with the idea of just drawing things poorly that has really helped me pursue my craft more fully without getting caught up in my own ego. That doesn't mean my ego doesn't still get in the way, it's just easier to shove it down for a bit. More recently, some other things I've done that have helped include drawing where other people can see. Live streaming on Twitch and drawing with others in programs like Magma Studio hits the fear of failing to draw well against the fear of people watching me freeze up. But I suspect that might be a bit more daunting for people, and a younger me may not have handled it quite as well. But that's okay. We grow in baby steps. Before I call this video done, here's a peek at a few pages of the sketchbook in question, because of course I can't talk about it without showing at least a little bit. Initially, I leaned a little bit too much on drawing bigger, full-page drawings, but technically I still filled them in with writing as well. After that first day, I started packing them with many smaller drawings, exploring whatever crossed my mind. As you can clearly see, many of those drawings were very chicken-scratchy and erratic, largely because I didn't know how to draw the things that I was trying to draw or how to approach any of it. I just tried. At this point, I had been drawing for a while, though I never really took it all that seriously, so my fundamentals were quite poor. But that's totally fine. The point of this exercise wasn't to draw well, it was just to get things onto that blank page. So even if you have no idea how to approach drawing the idea that came across your mind, take a swing at it anyway. Even if it just ends up being a bunch of scribbles, at least you'll be ruining that blank page. What's most important is that I put ink to paper, and I drew something. And I hope you will too.
I like how he's talking about like, oh, it doesn't need to look very good, and my proportions aren't very good, and then he's just drawing like a god. If you hear any background sound, it's my roommate puzzling around in the background. I will share with you a technique to overcoming fear that I've learned on my own practices. I do a lot of meditation and dive into Eastern philosophy and this type of thing. But there's a technique called shadow work, which is very simple but also very difficult, but it is the fastest way to get over fears that I know of. And essentially what you do is you find a phrase that when you say it in your head, it triggers emotions that are uncomfortable. Then you sit with these emotions non-judgmentally until they kind of start to subside a bit. And once they start to subside, you kind of release them, and then you bring up that phrase again. Emotions arise again, maybe not as strong this time. It might take a few times. You watch them, and then do your best to let go of them. Thank them for being there, let go. And then you do it again until eventually you'll be able to say this phrase or create this scenario in your head, and you won't have an emotional trigger to it anymore. And this does actually work not just with fear, but pretty much any emotion that you would like to take under control. It's just any trigger is... it's kind of like if you saw a snake on the road and you get really scared, the natural response is to run away. But in reality, that snake is just a stick. You don't know it's a stick, you think it's a snake, so you want to run away. But if you run away, then every single time you see a snake from now on, you will get scared. That trigger is still there in you, it won't go away. But if you go close to the snake one time, take a good long look at it and see, oh, it isn't actually that scary, it isn't that dangerous. I was just creating all this danger in my own head. Then that trigger disappears forever. And that's what shadow work does. Anyways, that was kind of a tangent. Let's hop over to the text. It seems that this is the last text. Let's see what the weed female, I think you called them. 50-second rule. Oh, this is an old one. It hasn't been updated. It's missing the last part. I guess we'll have to go with the guy then. Where are we? Alright, how should it be used? Grinding and warm-ups? I don't remember that being part of what. This isn't the right page. What's happening? Victor.
Changing.
What does it... Oh, okay, this is just one long thing with all of the lessons. Alright. I just thought it was this one page. My bad. Alright. Let's see if we can find where we were at then. Ready? That's good. Then comes the 50% rule. Very good. And then we should get to... Oh? Oh, it just skips the last part. Alright, well, I guess I'll just have to read this out loud for y'all. Look, I get it. While the video above may hit you a little close to home in terms of bringing to light specific issues many of you will find in yourselves, that doesn't mean it's an easy thing to tackle. A lot of you will acknowledge the issue, but will still find it too daunting to actually do anything about it. Some will still miss the point that the 50% rule is supposed to be incredibly difficult and frustrating. It's not supposed to be fun. Not at first. It forces you to be vulnerable in ways you're not used to. I've been through it too. The video explains how, after a full decade of being afraid of the blank page and canvas before me, I tackled the problem head on. It's a simple exercise, but again, it forces you to draw badly. And so it requires you to go up against your own ego. At the end of the video, I also share a bit of the sketchbook from way back then. Keep in mind, I'd been drawing for 10 years at this point, alright. But this was before I'd ever learned these kinds of exercises I teach here on Drawbox. Alright, cool. Other resources? Is this important? Whatever, we'll read it anyways. I get it. This sort of thing is hard to understand. At its core, the 50% rule is about accepting that your mental health is more important than anything. And while society may convince you that you are only as vulnerable as what you can do, that is frankly a lie. Your ability to draw, or lack thereof, has nothing to do with who you are as a person, as much as you may want it to. And drawing poorly does not reduce one's worth as a person. Just as in quite the same way, learning how to draw better will not make you a more worthy person. We are, all of us, complicated, multifaceted beings, and worth is inherent in us. It is not for others to bestow that worthiness upon us, nor is it for us to question it of ourselves. But you will feel tempted to do so continuously throughout your life. It's probably one of the many reasons you're here, looking to learn how to improve your drawing skills. This may be something you understand on a logical level, but believing it is a full lifelong task you will need to work at constantly. The 50% rule is, in all honesty, a big part of that. But I digress. Since you shouldn't just hear one person ranting at you about these things, I'm going to gradually build up a list below of videos and articles from other people who you should respect far more than me. And then there's just one person. Good list, thanks. Alright. So that was my ability to read out loud. As you noticed, I stumble across things simply because I have barely any practice with this. Uh, if you would like me to continue doing that, I don't mind doing it. Otherwise, anyone can volunteer and join. Alright, cool. So anyways, this was the first 2 pages of Drawbox. We have been at it for almost an hour now. I am thinking that we will do a 30-minute free draw session now. And then once I'll set a timer, and once the 30 minutes are up, if you feel like it, you can share your art in the lesson art channel. As he mentioned, this is a very important part of the course, because if you don't do this, you will burn out and you'll never really enjoy drawing. Yes, so this means anything, doodle, whatever comes to your mind. Just the first thing that comes to your mind, get it down on paper as well as you can. And if it's bad, just crumble it up, throw it away, or do whatever you want with it. It's not something that you're drawing for other people. It is something that you are drawing simply for the sake of drawing it. Other people will only see it if you want them to, Mammal. It is not a requirement that you post it in the channel. Hey, Millimoppin. It is recommended that you draw with pen and pencil, even if you only want to draw digitally. Learning to draw with pen and pencil will take away a lot of like the temptation for doing Control Z and automatic tools and this type of stuff, and it will also give you a much more fundamental understanding of where to actually put your lines and that kind of thing. I believe it'll help you. It'll help you a lot, both in digital world and in traditional art, to do this with traditional mediums such as pens or pencils. I'll be using pen myself. So I will set a timer now. And can I play copyrighted music on Twitch, or do I need to find a playlist of royalty-free stuff? Does anyone know? Alright, okay. Royalty-free stuff it is then. Let's see, what are we feeling? Are we feeling some lo-fi hip-hop? Some study beats? Does anyone have a suggestion for what we can listen to while we draw? Eight hours of streaming has been suggestion. Alright, lo-fi it seems. So let's search royalty-free lo-fi. No copyrighted lo-fi. Wonderful. Here we go. 3 hours. We won't need that much. I'll give you a couple minutes to go get a pen and paper if you have not gotten it already. These are some very good suggestions you're coming with, by the way. I like them. I'll have to write them down, and we can do them another time. So I will set a timer for 30 minutes and let you all know when the time is up. no Control Z if you're doing it digitally. In fact, I recommend to anyone learning to draw to just not use an eraser, because what you want to learn is to take your mistakes and turn them into something that actually works. That's a much better way of going about it. I'm pretty sure for freestyle drawing, what he wants us to do is not really use reference. It's up to you, of course. But simply drawing from your mind. I know some people can't really visualize stuff in their head, and there's not much to do about that. So if that is the case, feel free to use reference or whatever you want. But I'd recommend just doing it straight out of your own head, whatever comes up, whatever happens. Oh, I know. Should I make the timer like part of the video? Yeah. Alright. People are saying don't. I won't. I'm also thinking that'll be just too stressful, to be honest. Just draw without really worrying about when it's done. Last 3 minutes to wrap up your drawing. up? Let's see what everyone drew. Snap a picture, send it to the Discord. Mm-hmm. It's really fun drawing with you guys. I might buy a webcam for next time so you guys can watch me draw as you draw. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in. Alright, I guess I will stream the Discord chat and then look at all your drawings on the stream. Here we go. Yeah, tomorrow another lesson. Same time. There is also one for the Asian time zone at 00 GMT that one of the mentors will be hosting. Also, the people with mentor role, they are here to help you critique your art, and they will give you valuable feedback on stuff and tips and stuff like that. These are people who are professional artists, so they know what they're talking about. All right, let's see. Oh, cute. Yeah, this is really good. Oh. I'm not very good at commenting on stuff, by the way, just a head up. mm. Oh, very nice. I see you have some experience with drawing trees as well, owls. Nice. Ah, yes, your art will be publicly displayed to everyone. Oh no, the anxiety. I love drawings like this, honestly. Like just really weird and abstract. It's kind of like the Find Waldo kind of thing, where every drawing you do kind of overlaps or interacts with each other. I really enjoy when that happens. Oh, this is pretty cool. I like the moose. Race car bad. Yes, things popping into your head, you draw them. Very good. Ooh, this is a busy one. Oh, very talented. See, I wish I could even draw like this. Wait, let me see if I can take a picture of my drawing. My phone decided to die, so wait, I need to get another charger because I think there's a loose connection in this one. My phone kept dying even though it was charging up, so I have a different charger here that I'll try. it's really interesting seeing all the diversity in like both drawing styles and ideas. Like there's so many different ideas going on here, and any one of these, honestly, if you save them in like 2 or 3 years, you can take them out, look at them, and then redraw them into something actually valuable. Because from what I understand from other artists is, at some point you'll hit like a brick wall and you just have no ideas, nothing is coming to you, and this is when old drawings become valuable because then you can pick them up and look at them and be like, oh, that was actually a pretty good idea here, and then you can draw that with your newfound skill or put a bit more detail into it and stuff like that. Next class is at 19 o'clock Central Summer European Time. You can also see in the welcome message when it is on the Discord channel. Oh, this is one of those anime guys who are going insane. You know, where the whole face bulges out. Hell yeah. Very nice. Oh. Oh, swirls. Lots of interesting stuff going on here. Very cool. Oh, we got some memes. The Pepe Frog. Nice little Minecraft house with a tree on top. This guy in the corner who seems to be pretty fucking stoned. Very nice. She's in a water bottle? Or is that like a jar? Oh no, is this one of those cursed images? Oh no, get that out of here. Where they put the figurine in the jar. Very cool. Trying out different stuff, I see. Kingaro says, for the next stream, can you check if you can add some noise cancelling to your OBS? Pretty simple to do. I can send you a link. Yes, I would very much like a link to that. I'll get it set up for next time if I can figure it out. Oh my, that is one cursed SpongeBob, not gonna lie. I've got some Binding of Isaac. Very good. Taking inspiration from things you enjoy. That's a really good idea. Oh, is that JoJo down here in the corner? Nice. Ooh. Oh. Pickles. Nice, nice. So many different ideas. Oh, this is a person who's drawn for a long time. You can tell from how refined it looks. They have their own style and everything. Very beautiful. My phone is charged now, so I can snap my own drawings and you can all see. You know what, I'm gonna bring back the smooth lo-fi music. Honestly, I really enjoyed that. Very cool. Alright, the pictures have been taken. drawings or something. Oh, Pickle Rick. Hell yeah. Nice. I'd probably get some, get rid of the grid, just get some normal paper, to be honest. Unless, I mean, I guess it helps you if you're scared of the blank canvas or whatever. So, whatever, it's up to you. Oh, very, very creative stuff here. Like the spider on skis. What's... oh jeez. It's like a troll coming to visit you at your house. In your bedroom. And you have a bunch of cursed items up on your attic. Very nice. Oh, this is artistic. Big crocodile. Yes. Mushroom crocodile. Very cool. Ooh. Oh, this is really artistic. It's like the life and death contrast. Very good use of contrast there. Very nice drawing. Death Batman. Ooh, nice mushrooms up in the corner. You're good at those. Aw, hey, yeah, this is what I like to see. Just pure creativeness. Just absolutely not trying to fit any proportions or anything. You're just drawing whatever comes to you. That's wonderful. Oh, very nice. Some of those giving me some vaporwave vibes. Nice kick. That's right, you gotta fill out that page. I want to see more kicks. Come on. Nice. Literally just draw your Logitech. That's cool. Oh jeez. This one has a lot of practice with faces. Very good. Ooh. Nice, creative. Oh, that's very cool. I like your use of shapes here. Oh jeez, that's mine. Oh no, it's rotated incorrectly. We have a dinosaur in the rain with the bicycle helmet on. He didn't expect the terrain. And then we have this grumpy old king yelling at his servants. Those are my drawings. I'll try and get them faced correctly next time. And last but not least, we have I cannot find words to describe what's going on here. Unicycle man with a feather duster. Very cool. Very nice. Well, thank you all for joining today. We'll be doing it again tomorrow, same time. Check out the other group as well if you want to go through everything again. I'm gonna post everything in the covered content channel now. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope to see you again